Hello and welcome back to Just Painted. Alright, today we're trying something new with the video, so hopefully you guys are patient enough because I'm trying something new, something for the future once I move everything around in this room, because I'm going to be doing some updating in the room as far as the floors, and so I got to get rid of these carpets and stuff. They drive me crazy. But anyway, so today I'm going to start a new kit, and I'm going to test out this little video upgrade that I did, see how it works. So you can see I did a little changes already. The little camera on top is going to be the fix camera, which is this one up here that you see right now. Then I have this one, the regular overhead, and then I'm going to try a couple different things with this other one here. Okay, get a little wider angle, a different angle. Okay, so that's what we're going to be trying out. Okay, hopefully it'll work out and you guys could get a better view of what's going on and a better view of my mess on my desk and stuff, but that's okay. That's what it's all about. You know, if you're painting, you got a mess, right? So anyway, so we're going to start a new kit today, and just to give you a heads up, there's going to be a series of kits that I'm going to be painting that are going to be a donation, and it's for my wife's work. My wife, like I spoke before, she's a special ed teacher, and she works for a private school, and they're going to do a little fundraising, like a turkey tray or something like that. Don't know much about it, but I offered it to her, see if that's something that, you know, might attract a little bit of money for the fundraiser. And she was all for it, and you know, and we're gonna try it. You know, I'm gonna do a few figures for this event that's coming up shortly, and I'm a little bit running out of time, so I wanted to get started with this. I just finished that video for Dracula, and I figure I jump onto this stuff. All right, so the figure that I want to start with first. So what I try to do is try to find a couple figures that will be I'm not want to say easy, but you know, a little bit quicker to paint. Don't know how true that's going to be. Let's see how that goes. But you know, there's a couple of them that I been wanting to paint, and so I figured this would be a good opportunity for me to do that. I'm a big I hate to give my stuff away, but this is for a good cause. So you know, but hopefully this is going to come out nice enough where people are going to want to. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I think they put tickets, and you know, then they raffle the prize away with the tickets that are collected in that one product. That's how I think it works. So people purchase these tickets, and they put them in there, and you know, that's how they raise money for the thing. So hopefully this thing becomes popular, and people are going to want to do that, and you know, hopefully they raise some money for it. That's the whole point. You know, so money goes towards the kids or towards the stuff that the teachers needs for the kids. So we'll see how that goes. But again, like I said, I'm not sure how that whole thing works out, but hopefully it works out for them, you know, where they're going to be able to raise money. So anyway, the kit that I'm going to be painting today, I'm going to start with, let me show, put it, I got it on I just finished priming it yesterday. All right, so we're going to paint it today. Let me put it to the side and show you. Maybe you guys figured it out already. But it's a pretty tall kit too. But it's Angelina Jolie. Focus. There you go. It's a beautiful sculpt. I think it's one of the best sculpts from this character from Tomb Raider that I have seen so far out there. And this kit's been out for a while. And it's by Mega from VX Labs. All right, and he did a beautiful job with this. Let me see if I can get a little more light on this. All right, there we go. And he did an amazing job on this sculpt. And it's a beautiful kit, and it's very popular. I've seen a lot of people paint this out there, and I've done a beautiful job on these. And I figured, you know what, let me give it a shot, because I've been wanting to paint this for a long time, and I never really got around to it. A little schmeckle. And I've been wanting to do this kit, and and I never really got around to it. So we're going to start painting this today. All right, and we're going to use our regular techniques, the way that I usually do skin tones and all that stuff like that. There's plenty of that here, obviously, as you can see. She's wearing a short top and so I figured, for doing stuff, I figured kids would, and these are, they're a little bit older kids, but I figured they would be into like video games and superheroes and stuff like that. So I'm doing this one for a video game, and then the next one, or maybe two, if I get around to doing a little more, they're going to be superheroes. Okay, so, but I don't want to give up too much on that yet until we get to it. All right, but we're going to start with her, and I think it's a beautiful sculpt. And I think this is going to be a nice setup where she's going to do like either gift certificate along with this, with either movie tickets or GameStop gift card and things like that to go in with the package thing, kind of thing. And the other ones are going to be kind of like the same too. Maybe put the DVD in there for it or whatever, but things like that. So it was a good idea. I think it is a good idea. So let's see how it goes. But we're going to start painting that today, and we're going to start with the skin tone. So let me get all my stuff ready, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is something new that I'm trying, that just doing the voice-over video. So if you guys tell me what you think below, leave a comment if you like this format. But here, basically, what we're going to start doing is laying down some skin tones. And the first color that I'm starting off with is with Pro Acryl Tan Flesh. Now, I emphasize this all the time in all my videos, guys, and I'd say do light layers. Very thin layers, very gently. Just go over the kit. Just go around it. You don't have to cover it all up in one pass. Just go, don't soak it up. Go nice and gently and just spray over the kit nice and gently. And then by the time you come around it, if you're doing thin layers, it should be dry and you should be able to put down another layer. All right, and keep on, doing the cover up, giving a nice even coat. But don't soak it down. Don't spray it too thick. Okay, just give it nice, even layers and really thin. All right, and like I said, by the time you come back around, it should be nice and dry, and you should be able to place another coat. See, as here I'm going around. I started with the torso, and I'm going down to the leg. And I'm just spraying thin layers all around the kit. And don't worry about the overspray right now, because we're gonna start. What I like to do also too is to start from the bottom up, meaning the skin tone, then like the clothing, and then the gear, and then all the other stuff. All right, so the skin tone is what's in below, and then everything else on top. Okay, and continue to place down thin layers with the same color. Make sure you get good coverage, nice and thin layers. Just go all around. And there's some of that gray shows through. If you're looking for realism, it's not a bad thing if some of that gray shows through. Not like gray, but a little bit of a hint of gray showing through, because that just gives more variation to the skin. All right, so it's not a bad thing. All right, just as long as you get a little bit of color in there, you should be fine. I do everything in thin layers, and as you're going to see how the process is done, it comes out with a nice finish, and it's very simple to do. Okay, thin layers, do the whole everywhere where the skin is showing, and this kit has a lot of skin. It's a big kit too, so be patient with it, and and you'll see your outcome is going to be really, really good. All right, so thin layers is the key. Okay, and I'll show a little bit of the face, how it looks once the layer is done. All right, so here we're going to start doing some tinting and freckling, and we're starting off with yellow, Moon Yellow by Vallejo. And basically what you do is you just put a little drop in one of those containers right there and just add a bunch of water. All right, and mix it very well. And you're going to apply it generously over the whole skin, all the skin. Any exposed skin that you have out there, you're going to do it nice and generous. And you're going to use these cheap sponges that I get from Amazon. They're cheap. They're makeup sponges. All right. So generously, just all over the kit. See how I do it? Now, people call this the sideshow method, but really it's been around for a while. Other painters have been using this method. I picked it up from somebody, I can't remember who, but way before. And then, yeah, that's the other thing. Between each layer, you're gonna make sure you're gonna spray some clear coat. Okay. When you're done and it's all dry, spray some clear coat over each one. Okay. And you're gonna just dab it. You're not gonna rub it out. You're just gonna dab it, just like I'm doing right there. Now, yellow's not gonna show much texture. Okay. You see I'm doing the leg right there too. And anything that has skin exposed to it, just go ahead and just lay it on there. And then just dab it all off. All right. And you'll see better with the next colors that are coming up. All right. So now I'm going to use some Angron Red Clear by Citadel. Same thing. You put a little drop in there and you just put a bunch of water and you mix. In the same process as the yellow, but you're going to see the effect a little better now. Now, after I apply the clear coat, everything here starts to bead. Okay, and that's what you want. Okay, you're going to do this, the double thing that you're doing here, that you're going to tint and you're also going to freckle. So you're going to see how I start dabbing things out, but I'm leaving the little freckles in there. All right, I'm just going to leave them there. Just make sure that you get don't let anything pull anywhere. Just make sure you pick it off. You can't do it with the sponge. Just grab a dry brush and pick it off that way, or like a Q-tip right there, like I'm using, and just pick out all the big ones and just leave the little ones in there. All right. Now, what this is going to do is going to give you some texture. All right. It's going to give you some nice freckling and some nice tinting. You got a nice color red going on there. All right, and there I'm showing what it looks like right there. All right. That's what you want. It's going to look gnarly, but trust me when I tell you. Okay, same thing I'm doing with the leg there. Okay, and you do this, apply this, the same thing all over the skin. All right, I'm just showing you a few things here that I'm doing, just the leg and the head, but you just apply wherever the skin is exposed. Okay. You know, so I'm explaining that the skin has bunch of different types of tones. You got red, blues, greens, you know. You can add some green in this if you want. You can even add some purple. All right. There you go. These are the colors that I like to use, and it works well for me. All right. So it's an easy application. Just make sure you don't let it pool anywhere. You pick up all the big dots, and you see how it smudges a little bit. Don't worry about that. See how that's okay. Everything is done in layers, guys, and I'll show you exactly how it's going to look like. Now we're doing a blue tint, which is Drakenhof Nightshade by Citadel. All right, and same thing. See how I'm pouring water and I'm repeating the process. Same thing with these colors, and I'm going all over the kit. All right, and same thing. Don't let it pool. Just dab it. Do not wipe it. Dab it off. Pick up all the thick and all the pool area and just leave the little dots. All right, and see how everything is getting tinted now, getting cooled. With the blue, it's cooling off, and there you go. All right. Again, this looks gnarly, but trust me when I tell you, it's going to look great once we get done with this. All right. Same thing here with the leg, and I'm just repeating the process all over the skin tones. I'm just doing it all over, and then now I'm just picking it up. Don't let it sit for too long, but just make sure if you can't do like a big area, just do small areas at a time. All right, and just a new sponge every time. You don't want to mix the colors. Okay, let's see how I'm sponging. Even when the sponge is wet, you can still add some little dots in there, here and there. Okay, just, you know, don't do the same pattern, just break it up a little bit. Okay, let's see how everything gets cooled off. All right, so now I'm going to start doing, I'm not doing tinting, but only freckling, and I'm using Agrak Earth Shade by Citadel. Now you can do two ways. You can use a brush and just splatter with the brush a little bit by just hitting the bristles, or you can use an airbrush with low pressure. Now here I'm lowering the pressure on the airbrush, and you see how the freckles come out? There you go. That's all you want to do. And this color is like a brown color. I'm not tinting the kit, I'm just freckling with it this time. All right, so you just freckle all over the skin right there, and you don't want to do too much either, but you know, that's good enough right there. And you can see that there's a bunch of freckles now, green, blue, reds, and everything. It's all showing through, and that's what you want. Okay, now you can take off any ones that you don't want with just a little Q-tip, or you know, a dry brush, and just pick off the ones you don't want before it dries. Okay, and here I'm repeating the process on the leg. All right, on the arm, I'm sorry. All right, so there you go. Just continue doing that process, and we'll move into doing the next step. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little veining, and she has some very pronounced veins in her arms. And I want to accentuate that, and then what I use is Dragonhof Nightshade. All right, just a little diluted. Okay, and I just, you see me there, I go very lightly, and I just add a little veins, color to her veins that are, you know, they're pronounced. All right, and I do that in her arms. See me just going around and just adding color very lightly. It's probably just too diluted, so I'm adding a little paint there. All right, I want to add a little bit of water, but not too much where it's gonna not flow properly, right? So there you go, I'm adding a little more color, and this is all going to be not as pronounced once you start doing the other layers. All right, but you also don't want to do it too dark, or it's going to have a hard time hiding it. All right, so just be careful how much you put on there. So, and I'm doing the arm right there, and I'm gonna switch over and do the legs. Back of the legs, I add a couple of little veins there. Okay. And everything looks really gnarly right now, but trust me when I tell you, everything is going to come together. Okay. Just a little bit of paint goes a long way. All right. Okay, so we're going to move on here. We're going to start adding pastels. Now, the pastels that I use are pan pastels, and that first color that we're going to use is red iron oxide. And what I recommend, if you're going to use pastels, the brushes that you use, just dedicate them for pastels. So use some cheap brushes, but you know, I use a filbert brush and then different sizes to do the creases and stuff like that. Nice thin brush. Okay, and I just apply. It's very pigmented, very pungent color. All right, just apply a little bit in the creases, in the folds, and anywhere where you want to add some shadows. See, I'm going into the nostrils, and I'm going underneath the eyes. All right, anywhere where the crevices are. Okay, underneath the eyebrows, underneath the eyes. I do add a little bit of color in the eyes. Okay, just to add some color in there. All right. And you see me around the nose, around the lips. Anywhere you see a fold, just add a little bit of color. And it makes the skin look so much richer once you apply all the other layers. It's gonna come out real nice. But right now it looks scary, it looks gnarly, right? But Trust me when I tell you. Just follow the process and trust me, you're gonna like the results. All right. Let's keep on going around and just keep on adding color all around the hairline, anywhere on the edges where the hair meets the skin. Okay. Just around the ears, around the jawline, just add a little shadow down there. Okay. And there you go. Now I grab my filbert brush. What? Oh, add some to the lips. And I grab my filbert brush and I start blending in. See, now there I blended towards the hair because it doesn't matter, you're going to paint over the hair anyway. But everywhere else, you just want to blend it within that area that you're doing. You just do it nice and gently. Brush off the excess on the paper like I'm doing right there. All right. And just keep on moving. All right. Let's see how rich it looks right now. It's going to blend in, trust me. Everything's going to come out looking really nice. And okay, now we're going to move on to a different color. I am using magenta extra dark. Okay. Now this color here, I use it more for like adding like blood flow, like underneath the bags, the eyes. I add a little color there. I'll add a little bit like on the bottom of the eyebrows. I'll mix in a little bit there. Now don't do too much because you don't want to make her look like a raccoon. But, you know, add a little bit underneath the nose, just to add a little blood flow in those areas. Okay. Add a little bit at a time. There you go. I'll put some in the lips. We're going to paint the lips anyway. We just want to add a little bit of that. It's just going to make it look a little bit richer. So just blend it in, nice and gently. Okay. And there you go. So here I grab the hand and I start applying the red iron oxide again in between the crevices and the finger, between the fingers. Wherever the wrap meets the skin, on the edges of that, I apply some of that color. Okay. As you can see. Alright. And just blend everything in. And then I grab a little bit of the magenta and add a little bit of blood flow where the veins would be. Okay. Okay, make sure you blend it in with your filbert brush. And these brushes, guys, don't get wet. I don't ever clean them. I just brush clean them. Okay, I just wipe them off. That's it. Okay, so we're going back to the magenta, the red iron oxide, and I'm doing just around the, you know, wherever any fabric, or in here in this case any of the wraps meet the skin. So I'm just doing it all around and just outlining everything with it. I do the same thing with clothing, all right, and everything else, and I just do the same thing. Just add a little shadow to all around these areas. Also, wherever the skin has any dimples or any creases or anything like that, you just add a little bit like underneath the knee and things like that. You might want to add a little color. Okay, see I'm adding a little there in the folds. Okay, see I'll add some underneath the knee. Just add a little shadow there. And then anywhere where you see exposed skin like that, or wherever the skin meets any kind of fabric or any material, you just add a little bit of color to those edges. All right, and then you blend everything in with the filbert brush. All right, if you have any excess while you're applying it, just blow, but make sure you don't blow wet, blow dry. All right, you don't want to get anything wet. Everything of this, all this stuff is being done dry. Nothing is being done wet. You don't put no fluid at all. Alright. You see how I blend everything? You do this step with all the skin. Okay, she has a lot of skin, so I'm just showing you here pieces. That's it, but same application for everything. See how it looks? It's very rich. You'll see the transformation in a few minutes. All right, so now I'm going to start applying some extra shadow with Pro Acro Shadow Flesh. In this part, you're going to start applying it underneath. Okay, underneath the where the shadows would be. Like here, I'm going from underneath, from under the neckline right there. And see how I'm applying just very gently. I put a little bit, not a lot. And look how I'm turning the kit. On the top, you see it nice and light. But as I turn it, you see the shadow flesh applied to there. You see that? And then you do this very gently, thin layers, guys. All right? All right, and same thing goes for the rest of the body. The legs, the arms, and everything. Wherever the shadow is going to show on the kit. So your light is at 12 o'clock and your shadows are 6 o'clock. So there I'm applying it at 6 o'clock. Okay, and I'm doing very, very light airbrushing there. Very thin. Okay, and the mixture is about 30 paint, 70% thinner in the cup. All right. So just try to remember that because that's important. All right, so you see light on top. Okay, and as I flip it, you can see how I apply the shadows in between the legs there, underneath, you know, just underneath the muscle tones, just very gently. You don't have to put a lot. It's very subtle. Okay. All right, but that's just another added, you know, to capture all the shadow areas in the skin. All right, and it helps, you know, give you that illusion that, you know, that the light is on top, and, you know, and it's a very good technique. So just very gentle application, that's all you need. All right, so here I'm going to apply a coat, an overspray all over the kit. Okay. And the application is going to be very thin, 30%, again, 30% paint and 70% thinner. And this is the original color, the tan flesh, the original color that we applied in the beginning. And you're going to just gently spray it all over the kit. Very thin layers, just apply it very thin. You see right there, it's just, you can barely see it. But you're going to do gentle applications. Do not soak it. Do not, you know, overspray it. Like, don't try to get out of hand. You guys really have to do real thin layers here, guys. All right, you want to preserve those freckles and some of the shadows and all that stuff like that. You don't want to cover all that up. All right, but what you're doing here is you're blending. You're giving a gentle blend. All right, and I'm going to show you here in a minute what it looks like. All right. Okay, so we're going to go back to this right here. All right, and I'm going to show you in a little while. But then I keep on applying it to all the skin. Okay, nice and gentle. Spray overs. Very thinly. Okay. Try not to get too out of hand. Give it a nice, even spray over. Very gently, light misting. Okay. And just apply it all over the skin. And what you're doing is now you're bringing everything together now. Okay, all the work that you just did is coming together in this process. Okay. And you apply it, and here I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, gentle spray overs. See what it is? It looks all blended together. Look at that. Look how beautiful that skin tone looks. I love when this comes all together like that. You know, you see nice texture on the skin. The shadows are still there. You know, the veining on the leg right there is just coming through it. All right, and look at that. That is a beautiful skin tone right there. All right, very simple process. Once you get the hang of it, it's very simple. All right. So there I'm showing you what it looks like with the spray over and without. Okay, you see all the rich texture on the arm and all the rich colors and stuff. And the other one is where it's all blended in together. That's the difference right there. Okay, side by side right there. You still see a heavy freckling, the heavy veining, you know, the heavy shadows. But the other one, you see all the blending that came through. Okay, And that's what it looks like when you do light spray overs. Very gently, very light. All right, there's the top part all blended together right there. Again, I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Once it's all blended together, look at the veining in the back. It's very subtle in the legs where I put them on before. Okay. You see the texture in the skin? The realism. All right. So there you go. All right, so now here, sometimes when you do all these spray overs and you do once you're done doing this, you're gonna wanna seal it. But you need to come back and add some shadows. You go ahead and, or any other, things that you want to do before you continue. This is the part where you're going to do it. Now here, I just want to emphasize a little bit of the shadows. I'm going very, very gently and just adding some color in certain areas like the lips, like in the hairline, maybe underneath the eyes. Maybe you want to add a little more color, things like that, a little more shadow that you might have covered up. This is where you're going to fix all that. All right, you're going to take your time and you do it. But do it very, very gently. Do it very softly, okay? Don't apply too much because you already have some of that built in. But if you want to emphasize it a little more, go ahead and do that now, all right? And just blend everything in nice and gently, okay? And give it a little bit of shadows here and there. And whatever you want to emphasize more, you just go ahead and you do that now, okay? So there you go right there. I want to add a little more magenta, okay? Then a little blood flow underneath the cheeks, just to get a little color right there, and just blend it all in. And look what that does, okay? It just gives that, the flush color in the skin, and a little more blood flow going around, all right? So there you go right there. All right, now add a little bit more underneath the nose, just to give it a little blood flow. That's all you want to do. You don't want to go too crazy, not too much. Underneath the bag of the eyes, just add just a gentle application underneath that right now. All right, just to give it a little bit more color, a little bit more richness. All right, and there you go. And that's what it looks like right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, there's still one more process to go before we finish up. All right, so now I'm showing you where we left off from a different angle after we seal it. Now remember that you have to seal, don't soak it, light misting with the UV clear matte over everything that you did so you protect it, okay? After every layer that you put on, okay? So here it is right there. So now we're gonna start doing the highlights, and we're using Olive Flesh by Pro Acro. Okay, so remember that before we did the shadow from the 6 o'clock, now we're doing the highlights from the 12 o'clock. So it's going to go top side, all right? So you're gonna angle your kit, and you're gonna spray lightly. This is all light layers, guys. 30% paint, 70% thinner. But you mix it where you feel that you're comfortable. You wanna make the paint translucent, okay? And you're gonna do this from far away. You're gonna gently spray from the 12 o'clock, from the forehead. You do it top of the cheeks, top of the chin, top of the lips, top of the nose, bridge, top of the ears, things like that. All right, very gentle mist right there. That's it. You're not doing a lot. You're just doing a little bit. Okay, very gently. Check it. Stop. Look where you're at. See if you need more. All right. Okay. Same thing with the leg here. I'm applying it gently over the top of the leg. All right, top of the knee, top of the the top of the thigh. All right, and then the shin, and just doing the top side of the back of the leg where light would hit. All right, I'm not doing it where it curves, just the top side, guys. That's it. All right, very gently. There you go. Okay. Now here with the full body. All right. From the 12 o'clock, okay, see how I have the kit angled, and I'm going on the top of the breast area, the collarbones, okay, just throwing in some paint. All right, and sorry, I tend to pull the kit close to my body, and that's just a bad habit. I just have to keep everything in frame, and I apologize for that. But there I'm going on the top of the shoulder blades, on the back over there where the kidneys are, Very gentle spraying, okay? This is all gentle spraying, very diluted paint, okay? And just, you know, just hit the top sides, that's it. Where you think the light would hit, okay? And there you go, on the side of the leg. Just very gently. See how very lightly I'm just applying the paint? All right, just take practice with the airbrush and you should have no problem with this. You went very, very light layers. Okay, and if you see on the side right there on the towel, you see some little paint, a little bit bare. You can barely see a little bit of paint. That's how much you want to apply. Very little. You don't want to soak this. See how I'm applying it very gently. Okay, it almost dries as it hit the kit. Okay, it's practically almost dry as it's touching the kit. So if you make any mistakes, you have to work yourself quickly. But if you sprayed and protected the kit with the UV clear, you should have no problem in wiping and then restarting if you have to. All right. That's why I protect between layers. If I mess up, I can clean it and then I can start over again. All right. If you make any mistakes, you can do some cleanup really quick or whatever. There, I'm just splattering some dots and I'm just touching it barely with my hand. I can remove those little dots and just keep moving. Okay. There you go. And look at how everything is coming together now. All right. Just such a beautiful skin tone. Now everything is going to pop once you start putting paint to everything else, like the hair and the clothing. But for now, look at that. And there's the result of that. Okay, this is after you spray matte clear over it, and that's the result that you get. All right. Beautiful skin tone. Okay, so here I want to explain something that I'm using a gold toner by garagekit US. That paint is not available anymore, and I use it just to bring back some of the tan, and very lightly. See how what I'm using. The same thing you're going to use if you want to use some shadow flesh by Pro Acro. You use the same method, but dilute it very well. I would do like a 30-70 maybe. And just make sure that you do it from far away. You don't do it close, you do it far in the light misting. You don't want to get it too dark. If you want to bring back some of that tan, if you did it too light, you just bringing back some of that tan back just to give it some of that richness. Okay, but I just suggest that you guys dilute it and shoot it from far away, and this is just a light misting. That's all it is. All right. That golden toner is amazing. If you guys can find it, you go right ahead and get it, but it's not available anymore. So, you know, the substitute would be shadow flesh at a very thin down. I would even go maybe 20-80 on that, and just mist it from far away. And don't overdo it. I'm just doing very light mistings, and that's it. Okay. And then you seal it, and then you move on. So there I'm showing you both together. Okay. What the results are. All right. And the skin tone right there, guys, is pretty much done. All right. Beautiful, rich colors. Beautiful skin tone. The process is not that hard. Okay, and if you follow the process, you should have no problem. It takes a little practice, but you can do this yourself too, even if you're a beginner. All right, and I don't have that many years experience in this, guys, but you know, I love the way my skin tones come out with this process. And there it is all together right there. All right. Next, we're going to start applying other colors to the kit, and you're going to see the skin tones start to pop. All right, but there it is, pretty much it right there. That's all the skin that you need to do right there. All right, that's all the work you got to do, and those are the results right there. Nice and rich, textured skin tone. All right, so we're going to be moving on to the next part. All right, so now we're going to start painting the hair, and color that I'm using is a black brown. Now you can get this in Vallejo or Pro Acro, which both of them are available. It's pretty much the same color, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna start laying down the base coat for the hair. Okay, and I use a broader brush just to cover up the, you know, the larger areas and stuff like that. And I just, you know, just start painting, just start laying down color. I dilute the paint a little bit, and I just start laying down the base coat for the hair. All right. Now here I grab a smaller brush and I start brushing the edges. Now when I do the edges, I use a smaller brush, and what I do is I do little fine lines towards the skin. Okay, so this way it doesn't look like a hard line for the hairline. It looks more like a natural hairline. Okay, so you do little fine lines, and I'm showing here what I did, and you just go over just barely the printed hairline, just so you can create more of a realism. And there it looks, what it looks like once it's painted. Okay, little fine lines that goes a long way along the hairline, trust me when I tell you. All right, showing just a little bit more of what it looks like. Okay. And look at the skin tone, how it sticks out once you put the hair color in. It looks just amazing to me. Hopefully you're enjoying that too. And you can see the work that you put into how it comes, you know, to life like that. It's amazing. All right. All right, so now what I'm going to do, start painting, is the eyebrows. I'm going to use the same color that I use for the base tone, but I'm using a real small, fine brush, and that is available from Tamiya. It's a detail brush. All right, what I'm going to do, fine hairlines to simulate the eyebrows. All right. So you're going to do, one might dilute it a little bit more than what it was, so you can get a better, there I'm testing the brush. You just start playing little fine lines. All right. If you don't like it, if you sealed your kit and you don't like it, you can wipe this off with just a little bit of alcohol and start over again. Practice it. Okay. You don't like it, wipe it off. Start over again. All right. I've done it several times. Okay, guys, where I just applied it and then I had go back and I wipe it off because I don't like it. All right. So it's not a hard thing to do with a little practice. A lot of times these kits don't come with the detailed eyebrows in them, and you have to make them yourself. Don't be scared of doing this. All right, just do little fine lines, and I like use the black brown as a base color. Okay, so there I'm showing what it looks like. Okay, with all the fine details. And the skin tone now is even popping even more with those eyebrows in. Just love the way it looks already. All right. See, once the hair color is applied and everything starts to come together. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to paint lip, and I use Createx Tim Gore line of colors for the lip. There's one color that's actually called lip, and then I also right there I mix a little bit of blood red. All right, and I start off with the blood red mix first, which is a little bit darker than the lip color for the base. Okay, and I'm mixing the color there so this way you can see what I'm doing. Now you can use any red and any pink that you want, if you want to try. But I like these colors because they're very rich and, you know, lip looking. So see how I applied little lines down the lip like that to make it look more natural. Just small lines going down. Okay, remember that I put a base color with those pastels in there. Some of that's going to show through. All right, but I'm just doing little fine lines with the thin brush. All right, with the darker color. And then to apply a highlight, I'm going to use the regular lip color. Okay, and I do it the same way. I apply little lines going down. Okay. See, I still have plenty of paint on my brush that I'm still working it a little bit. Just a little bit of time. Okay. And just keep on applying. do little details and things like that. You know, maybe a little bit of darker color along the middle of the lip. All right, and then you highlight with the paint, just to make it stand out a little bit. All right, not very hard to do. You don't want to make it look too red, where it's going to look like it's makeup. Okay. So now I'm applying the white in the eyes, and the color that I'm using is an off-white. All right, so you can add, for the white, you can also do like regular white and just add a little bit of gray to it just to tone it down, but you don't want it too white or too stark white. All right, just, you know, just an off-white should be okay. But if not, just add a little bit of gray to it and you should be fine. All right, and I'm using a fine brush to do this. All right. Just do a little bit at a time, take your time doing it. All right. If you mess up, you could just clean up a little bit with a little bit of with a toothpick, and just go in there and just, since the kit is sealed, you shouldn't damage the bottom, but just wet the tip of the toothpick a little bit just to make sure. All right. And it's a little tedious for a small kit like this. All right. But I also like to add a little bit of that lip color around the bottom part of the eye right there, just to give it a little color in those inside the eyelids, okay, and, along the edges. All right, so here I'm showing you what it looks like. And it's beautiful. Once you paint the eyes in, everything is going to come together. All right. So there she is right there. So you're pretty much done with the skin tones. All right. The eyes are the only thing that needs to be done, and then just add a little gloss to the lips and the eyes, and you should be done with that. All right. There you go. Beautiful. Look how the skin tone just pops now. Awesome. All right, so now we're going to start applying a base coat for the pants. The color that I'm using is Black Brown by Vallejo, German Black Brown, the same color that we used before for the hair. And if you have any paint left over from that, you can just apply it here. All right, I'm using a broad brush, but first I would like to say, give a compliment to Mr. David from Print and Paint Studios. I watched his video how he painted this kit, and I use a lot of his techniques or ideas for the rest of this video, as far as the shirt and a couple other things, and a couple of methods that he used. And this is a while ago. He's an amazing artist, and I'm going to leave a link down below for his channel. He's in Spanish, but guys, you don't need to know Spanish how to watch and learn how to paint. Trust me when I tell you, it's very simple techniques that he uses, and he's an amazing painter, so check it out. So just apply the paint. Here I'm using a thinner brush to do the edges, okay, and just, you know, just carefully just apply it. Just make sure you got like a little cotton swab or something to clean up just in case you mess up. But, you know, no big deal. So there it is. The pants are painted black brown, okay, and there you go. Don't worry about any overpaint on the belts because it's going to be painted black anyway. So, all right, but here I'm going to start with the boots, and I'm using the airbrush. I'm using the color, same color, black brown, and here all I'm painting are going to be the shadow areas. Anywhere where there's going to be a shadow, I'm applying the paint, like in between the laces, like all around the edges on the bottom, like anywhere where the shadow is going to be. And I'm sorry that I'm out of focus there, but so just apply the paint where the shadows are going to be on the boot, and see how I'm leaving some of the gray color exposed. Well, you'll see what nice effect you're going to get once we get there. Okay, but you know, if you do it like this, you're going to get a nice effect later on. We keep on applying the dark. You can use black, or you can use the black brown for this, because all you're doing is you're applying shadows. All right, and when we get to the boots later on, you'll see what I'm talking about. So just applying the shadow areas. Again, I'm out of focus, and I apologize for that, but I'll try to do better in the future. It's just, I like to bring the stuff close to my body, and it's a habit. I'm sorry. So there you go, right there. You know, I keep on applying. I'm going to show you exactly how it looks. Okay, see how you see some of the gray still there? Don't worry about that. Just apply from the bottom and apply the shadows. Okay, and we'll see the results later on when I apply the paint. All right, so here I'm showing you that I masked the torso and the legs because I want to add some paint to the shorts. And I start off with a dark umber by Pro Acro, and I'm going in from the underneath part of the shorts, right, just to enhance those shadows a little bit. Okay, and then this part right here, I'm just adding highlights with dark golden brown. Okay, and just very gently, all this is done in thin layer, guys. Okay, very thin layers, and just adding a little bit of, you know, just a highlight with the golden brown, all right, over the top part. All right, you want to do this very gently, not a lot, just very gently. And then now, I'm not recommending you the color that I use for this part because I wasn't really happy with the outcome of that. But just go with a little bit of a lighter brown color than what the dark golden brown was, and just you're gonna dry brush this a little bit. Okay, so again, get rid of most of your paint from your dry brush and just gently just go over the higher parts of the shorts. Okay, and again, like I said, I'm not recommending the color that I use. I'm just recommending that you go with the lighter tone than what the golden brown was. All right, and just, you know, generously but gently go over those high parts. All right, and just gently go over that and just do a little bit of highlight. Go very soft and very gently, and do as much as you feel comfortable with doing. Okay, I like subtlety, so I don't do a whole lot or too strong or things like that. I like subtle colors and subtle changes. Okay, so there we go. And keep on applying it all around the kit. In here, in real time, I'm showing you the outcome. Okay. Like I said, I wasn't too happy with that color that I used, but you can use the color that you feel comfortable with, just as long as you go with a lighter tone. All right, so now I'm going to start applying here Red Leather by Vallejo, and this is going to be the color for the base, going over the pre-shadowing that we did with the black or the dark brown that we used for the boots, and I'm going from the top side because I want to preserve those shadows. All right, so I'm just spraying gently over thin layers again, guys, every time over the whole boot from the top side, and letting the paint fall where it needs to fall. All right, and just covering up all that gray, and just gently covering up some of those top areas. Okay. Look at the nice effect that you get from doing that. Get nice transitions. Shadows are still there. You thin the paint 50-50, 60-40, you know, depending on what paint you're using. Okay. But that is the final outcome on that. You get a nice rich color, nice transitions. Okay. And we continue to move on. Now we're going to do the shirt. Now see, everything is still masked, and I have not sealed it here yet, because once I pull the mask out, I'm going to show you a little clip there how do you get fix, you know, anything that maybe got paint. But the color that we're using is the sky blue for the base tone. All right, and you're going to apply it again, thin layers. Apply it all around the kit. Do nice and thin layers all around it. Okay, make sure you're getting good coverage, but thin layers. You know, just go around the kit. Nice and gently, let it dry, then come back around and do another pass if you have to. Okay, but don't soak it in there. There's a lot of details on this shirt. All right, so you don't want to cover all that up. All right, so there is a real time what it looks like once you apply the color. All right, like I said, thin layers. And now we're going to start applying the shadows with a deep sky blue. All right, so it's a little bit darker of the original one. Also by Vallejo. And I'm doing it from underneath, guys. You're applying your shadows from underneath, so you turn your kit and you start spraying from underneath. Okay, just apply the shadows nice and gently. Not too much. You want subtleties, you don't want too strong of a application, so thin layers. Again, 50-50 mix. Okay. Continue around the kit. And there it is, what it looks like. Okay. Nice subtle shadows. See how it looks? Okay. So now, white blue by Pro Acro. Now this is going to be your highlight. Okay, you're going to apply it from the top. We apply the shadows from the bottom. We're applying the highlights from the top. So you're going to flip your kit and tilt it towards you. Okay, here I'm showing you the mix. The mix is going to be, again, 50-50, 60 thinner, 40 paint maybe, 60-40. Depends on, you check it out, test it on a piece of paper like I'm doing right there. Okay, and you want some gentle, thin layers over the top. See how I turn the kit over? Sorry that I'm out of focus there, but you'll see how I'm applying it. And I'm just spraying just very lightly over the kit. All right. All right, do not mask the shorts. You want to be careful when you do that. Mask your kit. All right, so there you go. That is what it looks like once you did the base coat, the shadows, and then the highlights. That is a result of it. All right. Do not, this is still masked, so don't spray clear coat yet, because I'm going to show you something that you need to do before you do that. All right, and that is taking the masking off. You take the masking off before you put your clear coat, and what you're going to do next is going to clean up any edges that might have paint that the masking did not cover. And it happens. Sometimes the paint just will seep in, or you didn't realize that you didn't mask it right. So with a toothpick, I'm using a little toothpick, and I wet it either in water, or if the paint is being stubborn, use a little bit of thinner. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm just very gently scratching along the edges. Okay. Now your base coat for the skin and everything else should have been sealed already, but do not seal what you just painted, so this way it comes off easily. Otherwise, you're gonna have to paint the edges over again. All right, but if you do it gently with the toothpick is made out of wood. It's not going to scratch your kit as long as you go gently. You're not mongoing it and going crazy, but it should come off pretty easily. And there I'm showing you what's going on. It's coming off really nice and easy. You're cleaning up those edges, and you're going to have a nice finished kit once you're done. And there I'm showing you the results. Okay, real nice clean edges. All right. And now you can proceed and seal. All right, I did the same thing when I did the shorts. If I had a little overpainting or anything like that, I went with the toothpick and I did the same thing. And here, I did it with the shirt. Okay, so it's a nice tool to have, very simple to do. Okay, all right. So now what I'm doing is I'm applying a black over all the webbing or the belt. Okay, and it's just a flat black. Any flat black will do. Just go ahead and paint over all the webbing on the kit. Okay, and here I continue to paint the webbing all around. Now also with the flat black, you continue to paint, and here I'm painting the gun only. All right, just paint the gun only. The holster we're gonna paint in a different color. All right, but here you're just using that black. Just paint it, paint the gun only, and leave the holster the way it is. The swell or the piece for the handle of the gun is going to be painted in like a wood finish later on, but just give it a good base coat of black. All right, so we're going to be moving on, And now we're going to be using Rubber Black by AK Interactive. All right, and we're going to be painting all the holster pieces, the holster for the gun, and then the holster holder on her leg. I'm going to be using the same color. All right. And to make this flow a little better, I usually put just a little bit in a cup, and I put a little bit of water just to make it flow better. Same thing here, applying that Rubber Black. Okay. And make sure you apply it. I'm using the side of the brush and I'm applying it nice and soft and nice and gently. Just keep a Q-tip ready to go to clean if you have to, or your little toothpick. And here's the results. I love that Rubber Black color. It's such a good color for those type of things and stuff. Really nice. Okay, so now we're going to move on. And we're going to start painting the details. Now here I'm using metallics, and now you can use any metallics you want. Here I'm using just a silver metallic, and I'm just painting over where the metal pieces are, for the buckles and the, you know, parts of the things for the straps and things like that. It's just silver. All right. I'm painting all the silver pieces that need to be painted. All right. And now I'm going to move into a gold color or a brass color you can use for the belt buckle. And like I said, this is option. I'm leaving it up to you guys. Whatever color you want to use. They got like antique brass or a regular brass. Whatever you want to do for it is totally up to you. Use whatever you feel like that you like, color that you like. All right, like I said, you don't have to do it exactly the way I do it. But here I'm just dry brushing over the black center of the emblem where it has some detail. And I'm just dry brushing over it because I want to leave some of that dark color underneath into the crevices. So just dry brush just over it gently. All right. Like I'm doing right there. Just very gently just brushing over, leaving some of that dark color underneath. Just so that the emblem just pops a little bit. And then I'm doing the little circular little pieces for the belt, for the hook, hooking on equipment and things like that. They got a name for it. I can't remember what it was. All right, but there I'm just adding the same color. All right, and just here are the details. That's what it looks like after you're done. Okay. It's a beautiful kit. A lot of details on the kit, which I love it. All right. Now you can spray and seal everything that you have done. Okay. And so we can continue with the next part. All right. So now we're going to paint the ropes, and I'm using for a base color. I'm using Yellow Ochre by Vallejo. Okay. Make sure you use the side of your brush. Apply it gently. If you go over the lines again, just keep a cotton swab nearby or the toothpick to clean up after yourself. But here I'm just applying the paint, and this is going to be the base coat for your ropes. All right, we're going to darken it up and highlight later on. All right, but there you're applying the colors, trying to make sure you get good coverage. Where you had see the skin tone is going to blend nice and easy, but the blue is going to be a little bit harder, so you're going to have to work on that a little bit better. But make sure you get good coverage. All right, and then later on you're going to do a wash too and clean that up a little more. All right, so there it is right there. What it looks like once you painted the ropes. And that's what it should look like. Okay. All right, so we're going to continue. I'm going to be painting all the bandages with an off-white from Vallejo. All right, and this is going to take you probably a couple applications to make sure you get good coverage. As you can see, putting the first layer down. I think I did 2 to maybe even 3 layers on some of this stuff. But take your time doing it. Remember, clean up the edges when you're done before you put a clear coat on. Make sure you get good coverage everywhere. It's going to look very white, but we're going to fix that later on. So just gently put the layers there. See how I always have a little cotton swab there, just ready to clean up. All right, and then just go around and do all the bandages. There's bandages on the arms, on the legs, even around the boots. Okay, so make sure I don't show everything, but you know, here I'm showing you doing the hand and then the arm. And I'm applying all that, all the off-white and a couple coats here and there. All right. Continue to paint as you go along. Just take your time. Do the layers, a couple layers to do the proper coverage. You should be fine. All right. Just take your time doing it. Okay, so here I'm applying Agrax Earth Shade, and I'm going to apply a wash. It's about it's already thin, so I'm just adding a few drops of water just to thin it down and make it flow a little better. But I'm going to do this on all the rope. Make sure you don't let it pull anywhere. Okay, and just apply it all over the rope. You know what it'll do? It'll fall into all the creases and stuff like that. And it'll give you a really, and it'll darken it up the rope too. It won't be so bright. And there you see how I applied it everywhere. Don't let it pull. Like I said, you can pick up the pulling with a little cotton swab or dry brush. Here I'm doing it on the rope or on the arms. Give it a nice finish. And you're going to apply the same color over all the bandages. All right, just to dirty it up and make it look a little worn, dirty. All right, and you apply the same thing all over all the bandages that you did. Okay. After you're done with all this, you're always going to apply a clear coat. Let it dry very well before you do that. Now here you're going to apply, I am applying a antique gold. I couldn't find I don't remember which brand I used, but you could use any gold you want, or even antique brass or something like that. And I'm just doing it all over the place. This is the one that hangs off her arm. Okay, and now I start applying a flat black all around the edges of the base, and we're going to do some of the deeper shadow areas. Okay, we'll be doing a pre-shadow on the rocks. Okay, you go all over the kit. See where I'm playing all of the creases and the cracks, and where I think all the shadow areas are going to be on the rock. Okay, and all around the edges of the base. All right. After you're done with this, you're going to clear coat it. All right. So see if you get any spray over it, it's easy to clean. All right. So now I'm going to start applying. Well, here I'm showing you what it looks like after you do everything. And now you're going to start applying Payne's Gray from Pro Acro. It's a beautiful color, and the finish that I'm trying to find here to get here is like a slate color. Okay, so the Payne's Gray's got that bluish tone to it. And you apply it generously all over, but it's a thin down to about 50-50 to 60-40 maybe, because you want to preserve the pre-shadowing that you did before with the black. All right, so just, you know, thin layers, guys. You see what I'm doing here? I'm just applying thin layers all over, going around. By the time you come around, the other stuff should be dry. So keep on applying it, okay, until you get a decent coverage. And see, the shadows are still preserved in many areas, okay, which is nice. And you might want to just go a little deeper maybe in some other areas just to give it a variation of tone, okay. So now I'm using warm gray just to start adding like a first highlight to everything. Okay, and just gently over the whole thing, especially the high areas. And now I'm applying bright warm gray, which is a lighter color, as a dry brush. And look how everything is starting to pop. Okay. And I'm also going over the stone base piece right there. And just, you know, generously put in just the amount that you feel comfortable with. All right. Just put as much dry brush as you want, but you know, the end result is going to be totally up to you. Once you feel comfortable with it, then that's it. And then you go with it. Okay. But here I'm just keep on applying that warm gray, the bright warm gray over everything, and just making everything just pop out. Look at that. And that's such a beautiful color, that Payne's gray below it. Such a rich, beautiful color. And just everything now is popping. All right, so now we're gonna do some moss, and I'm using Dirty Down moss effect. Now seal your everything before you get started with this, because you're not going to seal it after you're done here. Because if you seal the Dirty Down, it's going to reactivate. It's not going to look right. It should be fine without having to clear coat it. But what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you shake it well. And once you're done shaking it well, you shake it again, because this stuff needs to be very well mixed. And then usually what I do is I put in a cup of warm water for a little while before I start applying it. All right. And then you apply it wherever the hell you want, wherever you feel. Like I'm applying it more like in the you know, those little crevices in the shadow areas where moss would grow. But as you start applying it, it just starts to dry pretty quick, and you're going to start seeing the effect. And you might see the effect as the video is playing, even though it's in a higher speed. You'll see the changes just go by here, and you'll start seeing the effect that it starts to have. See where some of the areas where it dried, look what it looks like already. All right. So keep on applying it in the areas that you want. You know, just maybe get some reference pictures of how moss grows to get a reference on stuff like that. But just, you know, go ahead and apply it where you feel like you would like to see some kind of effect happening. It's totally up to you at the end of the day. All right. So I'm applying it in different areas, you know, around the stone head, which I think will give it a nice effect. You can put a little bit of water if you want to spread it out a little more. It'll give you a different color tone when it does that. Okay, I mostly apply it right out of the bottle, and then I thin it as it goes down. And here, slow-mo, that's what it looks like. Okay, so we're getting here to the end of the video, guys. The base is the last part right here. All right, and that's the effect that I got from it. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, you can always email me or contact me on my Facebook page. Okay, and let me know if you got any questions. I totally appreciate you guys, you know, watching. And stay tuned, because I got more coming up pretty soon. Hope you guys like the kit. A quick shout out again to David from Print and Paint Studios. Check out his videos. And that's it, fellas. Thank you so much again. Hit the like and subscribe. Peace.